Cody's law is a concept that exists previous to crypto, but has been adopted because it's very pertinent for blockchains, which are meant to be immutable. And what's written in code is meant to stay there forever and to be executed autonomously and to not be censored. So it is very relevant. It's a core tenet and very core to the ethos of crypto and blockchain. But there's always been this debate of what if code that's written on chain is exploited and is used in a way that ends up being harmful for users, or ends up being used in a way that wasn't intended to be used. I think probably the most relevant debate around Cody's law happened, or I guess the highest profile debate around Cody's law happened at the time of the Ethereum DAO hack, when, as you all know, at the time Ethereum was just starting out as a layer 1 chain. There was this big project called the DAO, which was able to fundraise what at the time was around I think 15% of the ETH, of the total ETH in circulation. The contract holding this ETH was hacked, and the hacker was able to drain the contract. And so there was this debate on whether to fork Ethereum to censor effectively this hacker, return the funds to the contract, because it was a security vulnerability to have the hacker control a chunk of the network. And so, of course, the Ethereum community had this off-chain consensus, which ended up saying that code is not law, and that even if the contract was written in such a way that allowed for this exploit, in the end, there was an attacker who stole funds, and so those funds should be given back to their rightful owners. And so the Ethereum community decided to fork the Ethereum chain. This was the most high-profile debate. But this week, this issue was again raised in a French court, which was trying Platypus Finance and its attacker. And the court actually said code is law. So there was a code that was exploited in this automated market maker. The attacker was able to secure funds, drain smart contracts by using the platform in the way that it was set up, and so they didn't do anything wrong, and they were absolved of all charges. So this is super interesting, and I think, as being someone in crypto, fully believing in this ethos of uncensorable systems, I still believe that there's more nuance to this. I don't think it's as simple as saying what's written in code should be upheld no matter what. I think that intent matters of both the developer of the code and the user of the code. I think the purpose of the protocol or dApp and the intention of the user of that dApp should be taken into account. If a user of a protocol is achieving a certain outcome by interacting with the code in a way that the developers did not intend, then that should weigh into whether that outcome that they achieved should be changed or reverted, especially if other users are hurt. So a simplified way of seeing this is a physical lock's intended purpose is to prevent access to, say, a safe. Someone, though, might know how to pick that lock and access funds inside the safe. So they found a vulnerability in that lock. But they're not using the lock in the way that was intended. The lock was made to secure a safe, and there are funds that don't belong to the lock picker inside the safe. So they've exploited a vulnerability, and they've produced an outcome that was not the desired outcome by the manufacturer of the lock or those keeping money in the safe. So this case is very straightforward. If that happened in mostly anywhere, the lock picker would be found guilty of stealing the funds in the safe. So I don't know why it should be much different for smart contracts. So I'm not saying that blockchain should be rolled back and transactions should be censored. But like I said, I think there's a bit more nuance here to just saying code is law. I think if the code was exploited to make a protocol do something that it wasn't intended to do while harming users, then at least that should be considered. It should set a precedent for off-chain consensus, for DAO governance, for legal court systems to consider whether measures should be taken for the attacker to return the funds or for the victims to be compensated in some way. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Like I said, I'm all for censorship resistance, but I do think that in the cases where users are hurt, when code is exploited in ways that the developer didn't intend for the code to be used, where there is malicious intent in the user of the code to steal funds, then all of those things should weigh in on, like I said, governance, whether it's on-chain governance or off-chain court system. All of that should weigh into how each situation is treated.